What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. In the last video I got the new tire changed out on the 450. I bought some cheap rim savers off of Amazon to see if I could actually save this rim since this was the first time this tire was being changed. They did work, they did keep the rim from being scratched. However, there are still a few places that it did get scratched at. It took a lot of extra time. If you're somebody that races and you're constantly having to change your tires, I don't ever see you using these things. Somebody like myself who's probably not going to be changing this thing that often, I probably will use them again. Like I said, it did not save the rim completely, but for the most part it did protect it pretty good. As you can see, I left the rear wheel off. I did not put it back on the bike just yet. While it's off, I want to get all of this greased up. I want to get all of these linkages taken out, and I want to get all the bearings greased up in those. And after that, we should be able to get everything reinstalled, get the tire and wheel reinstalled, and be good to go. Stay tuned. If you didn't see the last video, definitely go check it out. I used these rim savers to try to protect the rim. Through the whole changing process, I only used 3 of the rim savers. It actually came with 5. So you can see here, I actually beat them up really good. Taking those spoons and having to stretch that tire over these things, it does really bend them. Here's what they look like, brand spanking new. Overall though, again, without them, I would have scratched the crap out of this thing. I do believe that you could probably change 2 tires in the amount of time that you could change 1 with these things. Once the tire starts getting really tight, it's just hard to fit these things up in there, so it just takes so much extra time to get these to fit in there first. Tire and rim are good to go though. I do want to get a lot of stuff greased up first before I put everything back together. Obviously the axle here I'm going to get cleaned off and greased up really good. I want to go ahead and get all of this linkage taken off. I want to get those bearings greased up. All you need is just a few nuts on the other side over here. One here, we've got one on the inside, one right up top there, this one, and then on the one on the other side over here. That one wasn't so bad. You can see over here on the other side what it looks like. Pull this one all the way out of there. And slide those down. This top bolt right here, you cannot get that one out unless you take the bottom part of this chain guide out. Just one Phillips head screw. There we go. Should be able to pull this straight on through now, all the way. And then the last one here is right there. I was able to just push that one through, pull this in. I'm gonna get all this cleaned up before I actually pull those pieces out of there and grease those bearings. I'm just gonna clean it up with just a little bit of Dawn dish soap and water. Just wipe it around here really good. Just gonna hose it off now with some regular water. Everything is cleaned off now, everything is dried off. I did walk it over to my compressor after wiping it down just to kind of blow everything out. Here's the grease I'm going to be using. I do have some other grease, but I'm kind of weird on the greases. I never know what's going to work with what. This Maxima brand makes a lot of other products for dirt bikes, a lot of products that I actually already have. Just take something, just pop it in there. It should just slide that right out. And then we'll do the other side over here, just like that. Just need to be careful. I'm just going to sit that there. Just want to clean around this seal right here really good. I don't want any of this dirt to get mixed in. My finger is should be keeping those bearings in place. There's not a whole lot of it, so it's not like I have to clean out a ton. Alright, looks pretty cleaned out to me. I'm going to clean this one off. Just clean all the old grease off of it, and all the old grease off of these seals. Now we are ready for some grease on this one. All I'm going to do is just take my finger, roll it around pretty good. The other side. All I'm going to do is just put just a little bit of grease all over this thing. Slide that guy right down in there. Outer seals here, and just pop them back into place. Take the other one, pop it into place, and one is done. The second one is exactly the same. I'm just going to try to knock this one out really quick. Push that. These bearings do pop out. They're not fun putting back in. I feel like if all of them fell out, but a few of them, it's not that hard to figure out how to pop them back in. Once it starts losing that grease, I start pulling that grease out. Those pins just don't stick together anymore as well. Start shoving some grease in. this one in on this side, just like that. For this front smaller one, the outer seals are actually much thicker, so you can't just get in there with a pair of pliers and pull it out like you can these. I'll reach in there from the inside and pop it out. You can kind of see how it pulls one side. And I feel like if I just work it around, it'll eventually work its way out of there. There we go. I was able to get it out, just pry it out. It just kind of pops the seal out with this one. The other side should be much easier to get out now. Slide this inner ring out. This one's a whole lot easier to manage because it's only one set of needle bearings. Just pack a little grease. Slide our centerpiece. Seal has to go on first to this, that, and then this feeds down into there. I'll pop this one in there just like that, and this now should feed down in there just like that. Clean everything off really good. All three bearings on this little knuckle here are finished. I'm not going to throw this back on there just yet. I've got a few more pieces that need to be greased up. The next thing that I'm actually going to remove is the upper mount for the shock in the rear. You can see the bolt there right behind that harness. Over here on the other side, here's the adjustment, and then there is the nut. I should just be able to take that nut off, and this whole assembly should just fall straight down. I'm just using the needle nose pliers just to push the bolt through from the other side. Looks like there is a few more pieces that need to come off. This little side over here where you make the adjustment is actually hitting. I have to pull this side plastic off, and then I may have to pull the exhaust off. Just slide back and out of there. Take this one off. And there's one clamp that holds it on right there at the bottom. Slide this right up off of there. I will say it's a very tight fit, it's a very snug fit, but I should be able to wiggle it out from here now. Kind of have to keep moving the swing arm up and down, and eventually it'll fall down up out of there. One more piece that does have to come off first. It looks like the swing arm is going to have to come off first. I didn't realize that. No big deal though. I planned on pulling the swing arm anyway because I want to grease all of those bearings and the linkage up there. To reach this bolt for the swing arm is just to push the brake lever all the way down. What I'm doing is just holding the brake pedal down with my right foot. With my left hand, I'm kind of holding up the swing arm, and with my right hand, I'm actually cranking on this. There's our nut off of there, and there is also a little washer on there too. I'm gonna go ahead and take the chain off. So here's the master link. You can see the little clip on the end there. Obviously, we won't be able to reuse this master link. That may just be an excuse to get a new chain. There we go. Just like that. Push that out. Pull this one out. Nice. This piece right here should just slide up and over. These little brackets right here holding on the caliper. And this one right here. Take these two off up here. This whole assembly now, I can just let it hang off to the side. Swing arm is clean and clear of everything, so I should just be able to tap that bolt through and pull it straight out. When I do, that shock is going to fall down, so I need to be able to grab that too. See if we can't just pull this straight out of there. This should just fall straight there, just like that. And now we also have our shock. Swing arm and shock are out of there. I'm not actually going to do those just yet. I want to get the last two pieces off, so it's just these two little linkages right here. Take that off. Take this roller off. There we go. Reaching the nut on the inside, you can't get it with the regular ratchet and socket, so you have to use a wrench. Nut, washer, pin, and a little extension arm. Everything is off. All I need to do now is re-grease it and put it all back together. I'm going to do these two little linkages first before I do any of the big pieces, because I can go ahead and throw these back on. Clean as much of this out as we can. Clean this thing off here. I'm going to go ahead and rub some grease in there. The inner pin, smear a little bit all over it. Our outer seal back on here. Clean this up really good. And I'm going to go ahead and get this one reinstalled on the bike. I'm going to put a little bit of grease on this bolt right here that goes through this linkage. slide that through. Did get a little bit of grease on the threads. I don't want any grease on there when I tighten this down. Our washer back on, and we can go ahead and tighten this one down. I am trying to keep the torque specs right on this, so for this bolt and nut, it's supposed to be 27 foot-pounds. First one's done. Number 2 here. Pull the little nut off. Pull the little chain roller off. This off there. Slide. Clean this one out really good. Here a little bit on this guy. Slide this in. Put the seal in on the other side over here. Add a little bit of grease to this bolt too. Slide it through. Washer and nut. Throw the little roller back on. This one's just a little 10 millimeter. I couldn't find the torque specs on this one, but it shouldn't be too much. Both of our linkages are all greased up, everything's back on. The next plan was to move to this upper shock bearing up here. Did not realize it's actually a little bit different of a bearing. It's not like the rest of them. This top one up here, it's actually a rotating bearing. What I mean by that is if you actually look at it, this thing actually wiggles around in there. Watched a couple of videos online. So this bearing is not serviceable. You can just replace it. It doesn't need to be replaced at this time. It's in very good condition. So I did do a little bit of extra work that I didn't have to. So I am gonna go ahead and put this back up in there and tighten this top one down. Slide it up into place. This nut says, I think 32 or 33 foot-pounds. Rear shock and spring are back on, no problems there, pretty easy to put back on. Still have to re-grease the bearings in the swing arm, so just to make it a few less pieces, I'm gonna go ahead and throw this linkage back in here. A little bit of grease on all of these bolts that go through these things. Both the upper and lower, it says that it's supposed to be torqued to 32 or 33 foot-pounds. This is the long one that goes through, the bottom one down here and goes through these. Just a little bit of grease on here. Throw the washer on, put the nut on. Found a couple of things online. Somebody said on a couple of forums that it was supposed to be 60 foot-pounds or 59 foot-pounds on these two. I also found a different manual for a different Honda, CRF450R or whatever their on-road model was. Not the exact same thing, but it said 38 foot-pounds. Seems a little bit more right to me. I'm gonna go with 40 foot-pounds. What I have left to do is the one that connects to the swing arm. For the swing arm here, it's a little bit different. For some reason, these pins actually stick a little bit out on both sides. You can see here I pushed this one through a little bit, and then if you look on the inside here too, where it actually goes through, it's all rusted around this side and the other side as well. I guess that's just normal. There's nothing to really keep that from happening. So what I am going to do is I can't really clean the one that's on the bike. I did try scrubbing it with a wire brush, and I tried wiping it down with some degreaser. For these, I really want to clean these. I don't want to leave these just like this. I'm gonna slide this one out. Hopefully nothing falls out of there. Should miss the bike here. There we go. I'm fast forwarding to you guys a couple of weeks later. I made a very, very big mistake with these little inner collars right here that the axle goes through. As you can see, all of the chrome is eaten off where I was trying to get that rust cleaned up. You can kind of see half of that chrome is still on there, and what I did is I actually set these things down into a little thing of CLR. I did get all of that rust off, however, it took all of the chrome finish off as well. I had no idea that this stuff was so corrosive. I've used this stuff before, but I guess I've never used it on anything with a coating. Not sure what all this stuff would actually strip off, but very, very surprised that this happened. Very, very unfortunate for me because I could not reuse these. I did not want to stick these things back in there and not have that chrome finish. It's the one main rust inhibitor that's on here right now. None of the parts stores had these things in stock. Finally just ordered it from a big parts chain store. Took them about a week and a half to come in, but they finally did. So here are the new ones. I did go with OEM. I tried to find some aftermarket ones, but none of them that would actually fit this. All of these little collars are very specific lengths, and this one is 47 millimeters. Here's the part number if anybody needs it. I'm pretty sure this is good for 22 to 25. Now that I do have the parts in, I'm going to go ahead and pull this towel off of here. I'll get all of the old grease cleaned out of there. I'll get the new grease in, get these collars back in, and then we should be able to get everything back on. Get all the old grease out of the seals. And there's this washer, and then the little bearing washer. New grease, I'll just go ahead and slide it on this washer. Put it down in there too, just like that. This little bearing washer, I'll kind of try to rub everything in real good. Gets in between all those little grooves. Throw the second washer in there. I'll put our seal back in. Rub some grease on that. Still gotta put grease on those inner bearings, but I'm gonna clean the other side too. Since I'm already over here, I'll just clean the inner seal on both sides. Flip this over now. I'll go ahead and do this inner seal. Drop that one in there. Drop that one in there. Put our seal on. I'm going to throw a little bit of grease on this swing arm axle that goes through there. And go ahead and throw the washer and nut on the other side. Swing arm bolt is back in, it is torqued down. The only thing I have to reconnect now is the linkage here to the swing arm. Just like the rest of the bolts, I'm going to go ahead and put just a little bit of grease on this one. Nut on. This one should be 38 foot-pounds. Just set mine to 40. There we have it. All of the bearings and all of the suspension linkages are all greased up. Everything feels really, really smooth. I'm not going to be putting the wheel back on just yet. I'm not going to be putting the chain back on. Not sure if you can see in the background, but I did decide to go ahead and replace the chain. This will be for the next video. Sprockets are still in pretty good condition, but I did decide to go ahead and order some new ones. Honestly, it's more of a cosmetic upgrade than anything. I'm going to end it here. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. If you learned something, if this helps you out at all, please hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button so you can catch everything else going on with the bikes, everything else going on with the channel, and I will catch you guys next time.